Welcome to Learning to Glow, a show about wellness, skin health, and self-development. I'm your host, Jess. I'm a mom, entrepreneur, and skincare expert. I'm so excited to share tips on how to achieve healthy skin and bring amazing guests in the field of health, fitness, aging gracefully, and personal growth. Let's explore all different ways we can take care of ourselves as women, both inside and out, to truly shine. So let's get glowing. Welcome, everyone. We have a really great episode for you today to celebrate the upcoming Chinese New Year coming up in February. This year is the year of the snake, which is my sign, lucky me, and we are speaking today with Letao Wang. Letao is a professional astrologist, tarot specialist, and the founder and spiritual counselor of the Healing Kingdom. He has been providing astrology, tarot, and numerology readings for clients, both locally in his country of Hong Kong and overseas since 2015. Since 2022, he's been in the astrology columnist for Hong Kong Living magazine. We had such a great time and so much fun talking about what is to come energetically this year, the year of the snake. And he gave readings for each sign. So if you don't know what your sign is in Chinese astrology, go and look it up really quick before you listen to this episode, because he gives really specifics on each sign and what it means for this upcoming year. It is so interesting, so much fun. He is also talking about different ways that he helps his clients with spiritual counseling. He has really beautiful oracle he has an oracle deck as well, oracle decks, and beautiful cards. So I'll make sure to link those in the show notes so that you can go check them out. And we talked about how he uses them. And he also talks about some different things that we can do in this year. I asked about manifestation and how to manifest abundance and have that be something that we talked about as far as tools go. So it was really interesting, so much fun, and I hope you enjoy this one. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Learning to Glow podcast. Welcome, and thank you for being here today, Letao Wang, as our special guest for this evening.
Thank you so much for having me, Jessica. It's great to be here.
I'm so excited that you're here, and I'm so excited about what we're going to talk about today. And before we get into our topic, I'd love it if you could introduce yourself for our audience and tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Absolutely, yes. So my name is Letao. I'm located in Hong Kong. I've been practicing astrology and tarot as well as spiritual counseling for the past 11 years. And so I started back in 2014. And mainly my service is to do counseling with clients. And I'm actually a certified counselor here. So, however, my counseling is a little bit different, very different from the traditional, feeling when a client sees a psychologist or a counselor. I use a lot of metaphysical methods, such as, Western astrology, Chinese astrology, and also cartomancy, right? Using cards to read people. And so that's what I do. I'm also a published author with Beyond Words Publishing in the US. And my books and oracle cards are distributed in the US as well through Simon & Schuster.
Oh, I love it. I'm so excited. Yay. So, but I want to mention this first before we get into some of the other questions. For those who don't know, you're the creator of 2 oracle decks. So for those who don't know maybe why you would use an oracle deck, or, and I want to talk about, tell us more about yours and, specifically for those who are interested. But if you could tell us a little bit about oracle decks first, I'd love to talk about that.
Right. Yeah. So there are, generally speaking, 3 types of cards out there, right? For us to use, either we read our future or we just read, our own mental health. The most popular ones are tarot and oracle. There's also a Lenormand, but that's a more minor type of cards that people use more in Europe. The difference between tarot and oracle is that tarot is a very rigid system. There has to be 78 cards there, 22 major arcana and 56 minor arcana, and it's more complicated. A lot of professional readers would use tarot because obviously there's a lot of cards, and you will also have to really master the relationships between each cards. But oracle cards, they are more let's say mild. Usually, the number of the cards in the deck can range between 20 to the most I've seen is maybe 50 or 60 something. Yeah, but generally speaking, I'll say 40 around that number. So it's kind of like half of the size of a tarot deck. And oracle cards, usually the messages are very, very straightforward, and very, to the point that you don't have to look at the card and feeling confused. For example, when you pull a card from an oracle deck, it's very, let's say typically you might get a card saying, for example, a transformation, or the card would say a gift, or the card would say focus, right? So even if you are not a professional reader, you get these messages. And I think oracle cards are very good for us to use on a daily basis as a reminder. And so one thing that I would do is every morning when I wake up, before I start the day, I will pull a card from an oracle deck, and I'll ask the cards, "What? Just give me one message, universe. Just tell me one thing that I need to focus on, or I need to be aware of today." And that card usually will really take me through my day. And usually around the end of the day, a lot of those things, right? What happened during that day would make a lot of sense to you.
Oh, so I love it. It's more user friendly. Like you don't have to be trained or anything in this. You can just take an oracle deck and like use it to pull a card for yourself on a daily basis. You don't have to know much about like a tarot deck would be.
Yeah. Specifically, I would say oracle decks that have a very good guidebook together with it. That would be very good. A lot of the oracle decks are actually more focused on the artwork, because the creators, they're artists, they're not writers. And so the artwork might be extremely beautiful, but the book is really thin, right? So if you are not a professional reader, but you love to do, your daily affirmation, you think spirituality is important to you, and you really love to have an oracle deck that could be helpful to you, your daily operation and your growth, I would highly recommend an oracle deck, not just with beautiful artwork, but with a very well written, detailed guidebook to help you.
Oh, I love that. I think that would be a really beautiful like morning routine practice where if a lot of people start their day with meditation or journaling or whatever, it's, to be able to pull a card first and then like kind of keep that with you all throughout your day. I love that. So I'll make sure to link your decks in the show notes for everybody who go and check them out while you're listening to this podcast. So I'd love to start with talking about Chinese astrology a little bit. This year coming is the year of the snake. Am I correct?
Right. Correct.
Okay. Okay. So can you tell us, like, for people who aren't familiar with Chinese astrology, maybe they're more Western and I know I'm a Cancer and, all of that. Tell us a little bit about Chinese astrology.
Right. So I'll put it in the most simple way as possible. Yeah. So basically, every year, starting from either February the 3rd or February the 4th, the Chinese zodiac will change. And so from February, let's just say February the 3rd, because that's what's going to happen this year. Yeah. Then we're entering a new zodiac sign. And so in 2024, let's say 99% of 2024, it was the year of dragon. And so that year carries the energy of the zodiac dragon. And when we entered starting from February the 3rd, we're entering the new year, which is a year of snake. And there are 12 Chinese zodiac signs there. And also each zodiac sign would carry a different element. So for example, even when we talk about the year of snake, every 12 years, the snake year will come, right? However, they all share different elements. So for example, this time we are having the year of snake in the element of wood. But next time when the snake year comes, it will be a different element. It will be either metal or fire or earth or water. And so the same element with the same animal will only come to us once every 60 years. Right. So it's not so each time, probably I would say in our lifetime, we probably only experience that same animal with the same element once in our lifetime, or twice maximum. But if you experience that twice, then probably you wouldn't remember the first one because you were too young. If you know what I mean. Let's say yeah, when you are 5 years old, maybe you experience a fire dragon, and then when you turn 65, and that's another fire dragon, and that's what it is. And so I think it's kind of interesting. Yeah, so at least in your lifetime you experience that energy, the specific combination between the animal and the element in that year.
Oh, that's so interesting. So you're saying that, like, so this is the year of the snake, and that will bring a new sort of energy to us, no matter what our signs are.
So both actually. So there is a theme regarding the snake energy. There is a theme regarding the wood energy, because this year is a wood snake, right? A snake in the element of wood. But depending on your own zodiac sign, you also need to know how to work with the snake energy. It is a little bit like the Western astrology as well. Let's say, for example, if you are let's say Cancerian, and this year, let's say maybe Saturn is in the sign of Pisces right now, then you need to know how to work with Saturn, right? Being the sun sign in Cancer, or if your moon sign is in Virgo, then you also need to know how does that work with a Saturn in Pisces, what kind of angle or aspect they are forming with each other, right? So we're not going to go into too technical stuff, but it's definitely, it's important to know your zodiac sign and how they work either with or work against that year's theme. Yeah.
So what if you're a snake going into this year?
So there is a very interesting thing. Yeah, when you are born in a specific Chinese animal sign, and you're also entering that your own year. Now, of course, that's gonna be usually when you are turning 12, 24, 36, 48, etc., right? Because that your own sign will only come to you once every 12 years. Some people, okay, there are also a lot of superstitions even in Asian culture. Some people say it's not good when you're welcoming your own year. Some people say it's good. So as a professional, I like to debunk something here today. The so-called, you are, let's say, for example, you were born in the year of snake. Now, typically, for example, for our audience, maybe you were born in the year of 1977, or you were born in the, oh, that's you, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you were born in the year of 1989, which is 12 years younger than you, or maybe 12 years older than you, right? That would be 1964? No, 65. Yeah, 1965. That also the year of snake. Um, when we are saying that it's your own sign, basically, okay, let me use a very interesting analogy. It will be interesting for our audience. Yeah. For example, let's say, Jessica, you are going to a alumni dinner with 11 other kids that you went to school with. And after many, many years, you haven't seen each other, you decided to get together, right? All the kids you went to school with, you want to see each other. And you know what Chinese people like to do? Chinese people like to sit around a big round table, right? That's what you see in a Chinese restaurant. Everyone sits around that table, and you have a thing that is twisting in the middle, right? So everyone can get their food. So when it's your own year, it's almost like you are, not only are you going to that dinner, but also you are actually the organizer of that dinner. So you are responsible. You have to call everyone. You have to call the restaurant. You have to make sure that the food is good. You have to make sure that the restaurant knows allergy, if there's any allergy from anyone has. And you also have to make sure that everyone knows how to get there, the map, right, the notifications, the emails, and you also have to make sure that nobody hates each other, right? You don't want to go to the dinner and people are feeling awkward there. And so, you being the organizer or being the main person for that party, you will feel pressure, because it's almost like all eyes on you. When everyone is talking about this alumni dinner, they're saying, "Oh, I don't know. Ask Jessica. Oh, she's the organizer. She's gonna handle it. I don't know. Yeah, just ask her. I just need to show up." Right? But she needs to handle everything. So that's the reason why a lot of people don't like their own year, because they don't want to be the center of attention. They feel too much pressure on them. They feel like they're not ready to do that. They'd rather do nothing and just show up, right? And as human beings, I think we can all be a little bit lazy from time to time. We all hope that we can just show up, right, instead of doing the work. And so when it's your own year, snake people, specifically in this year, you will feel a lot of pressure. That all eyes on you. Everyone is waiting for you to take the action. Everyone is waiting for you to deliver the result. But the good thing about this is if you can really just take the leadership and, let's say, put the pedal to the metal and do it, eventually you will be remembered. and you will be rewarded. If you organize an amazing dinner, everyone at the end will say thank you to you. Everyone will say, oh yeah, Jessica did a great job. Yeah, thank you so much for doing that. It's a little bit like that kind of energy, a metaphor, right?
Oh, I love that. That's so interesting. So it's like might be more pressure because there's more action that needs to be taken, but the reward, it
100%.
sounds
Yeah.
like it'll be really worth it.
Correct. Yeah. And the good thing about snake people this year is that you also have an auspicious star protecting you. And this star is called the heavenly relief, meaning that this star is actually very good for people who have problems and they need to resolve problems. And I think that this star actually comes at a very good timing when it's your own year, because the whole thing about organizing a dinner is about solving problems, right? Like what I said, some people say, oh, I don't know how to get there, you need to tell me, send me the map. The restaurants say, oh, but we don't have the ingredients, we can't make that dish, right? I'm sorry, can you request something else? And so it's a lot of problem solving for snake people. But because you have this heavenly relief star for you, it's almost like the universe will help you, right? When you are having a problem you need to solve, the resources will be there for you. So that's actually a good thing this year, specifically 2025, for people born in the year of snake.
Oh, I love that. So okay, I want to talk a little bit more about this year and like what's to come. One thing that I haven't really talked about too much on my show is like manifestation, because you can kind of look to this astrology for ways, and I don't know if it's because through energy or what's going on in the stars, but to use it for manifestation, or say, this year people want to, create more manifestation for
Yeah.
whatever in abundance or whatever it might
Yeah.
be. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So this year, as a theme, right, for 2025, actually, we can look at this from both an Eastern and Western perspective. And fascinating thing is that they actually really kind of like aligned together. If you look at the snake energy, right, in Chinese astrology, snake is about wisdom, spirituality, and it's also about transformation, because snakes, they shed old skins, right? And so snake year is always talking about what kind of old past or habit or that kind of old patterns that you need to shed, and you really need to shed it. And the reason is because a year after snake is going to be the horse, and that's going to be about the momentum, the running, right, charging forward. So if you're carrying a lot of the old, let's say, entanglement, right, during this snake year, you're not shedding the old skin, that you don't have the energy to charge forward when the year of the horse comes to you. You can't run fast, basically. And everyone wants to gallop, right, in the year of horse, because you want to win. So year of snake is not really about momentum, but it's more about reflecting on your past and ask yourself what kind of spiritual work you are committed to. I think one of the things I realized about specifically in my counseling session is that everyone wants transformation. But when you really talk to them about the change and the release, and they will say to you, no, I can't do it. So or everyone thinks that, well, it's easy for you to say to let go of the past, but you didn't experience what I experienced, right? So we sometimes in our mind we tend to give ourselves an excuse not to let go, because we think, well, but because it's not easy. But the year of snake really is saying that, when are you ready to shed that old skin, because carrying that is really not working out for us anymore. Now, the other thing that we can look at this similar energy is from Western metaphysical studies. For example, 2025, the numerological vibration is number 9. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5, and that goes up to 9. And 9 is the final number in the numerological sequence. There's nothing more than 9. Okay, the number after 9 will be 1 again, because that goes to 10. 10 is 1 plus 0, and that goes back to 1. And so again, even when we look at it from the Western numerological energy, number 9 is about ending, completion, wrapping things up. Okay, we have already finished our past cycle. What are you ready to end, so that you can start a new cycle in the personal year number 1, which is 2026. And that's the year of horse, the momentum, the running, the galloping, right? And so I think the common theme when it comes to manifestation for us is that, first of all, even before we talk about what we want to manifest, let's talk about what we are ready to end. And that, I think that's really the first step for the year of snake. for us. Specifically, these things can be something that is very, very simple. So for example, I have a client who literally, she was talking to me about this. She said she has been biting her nails for her whole life. And she says she hates that habit, but she couldn't change it. Sometimes it can be as simple as just how we stop a bad habit from repeating itself. Sometimes it could be as grand as maybe letting go of someone important in our life, leaving a significant relationship, or saying goodbye to a family member who has passed away, right? That could be as big as that. And so this is just a general theme for humanity. And also, also we can talk about this from the perspective of government, right? In politics, what do governments need to transform? What kind of old skin do they need to shed, right? If you're incapable, should you step down? Things like that. Now, we're not going to talk about the names, but we're already seeing someone stepping down right now. And we're welcoming the new year of snake. So, there's a lot of things in regard to that area. But like what I said, because this year we're also having a lot of good stars protecting us. For example, if you were born in the year of snake, 1977, 1989, right, those years, 1965, you do have the heavenly relief star with you. So that also means that when you are trying to release these old things, the universe will give you resource for you to do that, as long as you know in your mind you're committed.
Okay, so it seems like this is almost a prep year, right? Like we're shedding, we're saying goodbye to old habits so that we can just go for it in 2026.
Absolutely, yeah. 100%,
I really love that. I love the idea of it's going to be maybe some pressure, because like that's change, right? If we have to, like you said, your client was like, I want to stop a habit, but I don't want to do anything or change. Like I'm so comfortable this way. I think this is a good opportunity to look at those things in our life and be like, okay, if I want this, I can't stay where I'm at. I can't stay
Correct,
this way.
yeah, correct. And the good thing about this is, earlier when I say, this year is about, that reflection and, the awakening and things like that. I'm not saying that we can't achieve things in the year of snake. We can. But I think this year, it's compared to the previous year, let's say, the year of dragon, 2024, it was chaotic. It was maybe too much destruction that year, because dragon is somehow, when we look at the dragon energy last year, I talked about this last year as well, in different podcasts, right? Dragon is quite powerful. In Chinese culture, dragon was a symbol of emperor. And in Western culture, dragon, there were monsters, right? And so as a hero, you have to fight dragons to save the princess, things like that. So dragons sometimes, the energy can be very powerful, but it also can be destructive. But snake is different. See, snake is more calm. The energy is, even when we talk about shedding the skins, it's not like an explosive moment. It's a little bit slowly the snake comes out of its skin, and the skin will just, and be buried in the soil, and the snake is ready to move on into the next stage. And even in the, Egyptian culture, we talk about the Ouroboros, and that's one snake biting its own tail, symbolizing the eternal cycle of life. So this year carries a lot of that kind of cyclical energy, old leading to new beginning, death leading to rebirth, these kind of stuff. And I really think that for each one of us, we don't really need to be worried about it. We just need to know that sometimes, since the universe is pushing us towards that direction, we just need to be aware of what we are doing on a daily basis. Yeah, I hope that explains. Yeah.
Yeah. And is there any, speaking about this is an opportunity for us as, society to take a look at some of these things. Are there any practices that you can share with us, or things that, maybe we, for a person who's like, okay, I want to look at this. I want to make sure I take advantage of the way that, this year is coming up. Is there anything that they can do to sort of help with that?
So I think, in terms of something, because we don't want to talk about something that is too general, right? If it's too general, then people think, okay, I already know that. Okay, journaling, meditation, I'm already doing that.
Sure.
So if you want, we can talk about things more specifically about the 12 different zodiac signs.
Yeah, I would love to.
Do we have time? to do
Yeah,
that?
we
Okay.
do.
So the 12 different zodiac signs, right? You need to know your own Chinese zodiac, and there are going to be different advice for you because your energy will also have a different relationship with the snake. And then you will know what to do. So which one should we start with?
You pick because I'm not
Okay.
sure. Like, yeah,
So
but
we'll
we,
start from the first sign, yeah, in the
yeah.
sequence, yeah, and that will be the rat. So people born in the rat, they will be born in the year, let me see, 1948, 1960, 1972, 1984, and 1996. I'm not sure if we have audience that young, yeah, born in 2008, but okay, it doesn't
I
matter.
doubt it.
Yeah. For rat year, right? You have two auspicious stars protecting you. One is called Dragon Virtue. The other one is called the Emperor Star. So, put in a nutshell, this year for rat, you gotta be an emperor, meaning that this year is all about leadership. Leadership, you taking the command, right? And you will be pushed into a position, an authority position. And it's a little bit like, this is the year actually will need you to really be confident and push through, right? There specifically, I would say this could be a great year for career development. Whether you work in a corporate, you want to have more responsibility, or if you're running your own brand, your own business, and you want to be noticed. And so this year, the Emperor Star will make sure that you will be put into a very powerful position to reach your success. So this is the advice I have for rat.
Okay.
For ox people, 1949, 1961, 1973, 1985, and 1997 born, or 2009. For ox, it's more simpler than rat. This year, you have got the star called the Elegant Seal. And this star is all about creativity. So this star is very good for ox people if your job, your career has something to do with creative expression. Artists, musicians, right, creative writers, right? Or let's say, even if you work in a corporate environment, maybe you are a designer, maybe you're a graphic designer, or maybe you are doing event planning or PR, all these kind of marketing, all these kind of jobs that will require actually a lot of creative thinking and creative ideas. And so this is a year for ox people to really embrace their creativity with the Elegant Seal star, right? Now, for the tiger people, we have got 1950, 1962, 1974, 1986, and 1998. So Tigers, this year they have got a lot of good stars. We've got the Heavenly Virtue, we've got the Fortune Virtue, and the Fortune Star. All of these stars are actually talking about bringing opportunities in. So this could be about a good year for you to meet new people, making new connections, and step into the unknown, because there's going to be treasure hidden there for you. One thing good about the tiger people is that one of the three stars I mentioned is actually related to your palate as well. So this year there could be some good opportunity for you to try amazing food, right? Maybe you're going to eat very well. You're going to discover amazing restaurant and having this kind of maybe go on the food tour, right? There's going to be something related to eating that is very fortunate for tiger people. Okay. Now, the next one, rabbit, all right, 1963, 1975, 1987, 1999, or 2011. Rat, sorry, not rat, rabbit. Last year was actually not a very fast year or a successful year for a lot of rabbits, because last year rabbits didn't have a lot of protective stars. It was more like a resting year, recharging, recuperation, things like that. Now, this year, however, much better. Rabbits have got the prosperity medal and another star called 8 seeds. And so these stars are very good for money and fortune, right? So this year, I would say, after a whole year of resting, rabbit, this year, are you ready to work? Are you ready to step up again, right? Specifically with the 8 seeds. This star in Chinese astrology is talking about fame and attention. Because it's almost like you'll be put in you'll be sit in a throne high up there, right? And then you will have people will give you attention. People want to see what you're doing. People want to listen to what you're saying. So this year could be actually very year for you to come out of your comfort zone, rabbit. So far, questions?
No, I was like, tigers are going to be lucky this year. So that's what I got out of it so far. But yeah, no questions.
Yeah. Do you have anyone in your family where you care about? Do you know their zodiac sign?
Oh my gosh, I should. I'm gonna have to look that up. I only know mine.
Oh, okay, I
But I'll
see.
look up my kids too after this.
Okay. Your kids are, how old are they, may I ask, roughly?
So 14 and so
very
I
young.
guess
Okay.
2010 and
I see, I see.
2014. My husband is 1975. I'm not sure which one that was.
So 1965
Or
is,
75.
oh, sorry, 1975. 1975 is Rabbit, actually.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, we just talked about him.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, next sign is Dragon. So, Dragon would be people born in 1976. But again, remember earlier when we talked about, what we talked about at the beginning of the session, the Chinese animal sign only starts on February the 4th or the 3rd. So, make sure that if you were a January born person, your animal sign will fall into the previous year. Okay, just a reminder.
Okay.
So for dragon people this year, one good star that you will have is called heavenly happiness. So this star actually brings a lot of celebration. And so could be happening for dragon people this year is one typical thing that you will see is wedding. Okay, so a lot of dragon people, if you're single, you might get married this year, or you might just get invited to celebrations. For example, let's say friends' wedding, siblings' weddings. Another thing that could be very important, birthday parties, right? Maybe someone's turning 50, 60, and they're having a big gathering and then you're invited. Or this could also be about maybe a graduation party, things like that. This heavenly happiness star has a lot to do with the gathering and the celebration. People are coming together, raising glasses, saying cheers and congratulations, things like that. So this year, you probably will be invited to a lot of happy events, and it's important that you go. Because this heavenly happiness star is talking about the important information, the people you will connect in those happy moments. So do that.
I love that.
Snakes, we just talked about snakes, so we're gonna skip that, right? And the next one is horse. Okay, horse, I would say probably is the best Chinese animal sign in this year. So they receive the most fortune. In case if you're a horse, well, congratulations and lucky. Horse people born in 1954, 1966, 1978, and 1990, or plus 12 years, 2002. I think, yeah.
Okay.
Now, so for horse, the most important star you will have is literally the sun. And the sun is very similar to Western astrology. The concept of the sun is bright, it's positive, it's optimism. It's a bit like the sun card in tarot card as well. It just resolves everything. Right? Everything comes near the sun, it becomes positive, it becomes happiness. So this year, the horse is going to be protected by the sun. A lot of the problems will be dissolved because of this positive energy. Another good star for the horse is called the study hall. And this star is very good for horse. If you are going through some kind of academic training, right? If you're in university, you're going back to university to a master's degree, you're doing a PhD, or you're going to some corporate training to level up your skills. This year is very good for learning and study and achievement in the academic area. And finally, the horse people are also very blessed with a romance star, which is called the peach blossom. And so single horses, it's very possible that this year you will meet the love of your life. Okay? And I will also recommend you go on dates. Right? Instead of sitting at home and wait for your Prince Charming to come to you, you need to go out there to meet people, flirt, right? Talk to people and socialize. That will be very good for love. The peach blossom flower will also make sure that you're also getting the attention in the romantic energy. So for example, if you go to an event, you're hoping that you will be able to meet someone, there will be people paying attention to you. Okay. Great. Now the next one is the goat. Goat. This year, you need to be patient, right? So goat this year, it's a little bit like rabbit last year. You don't have a lot of auspicious stars. You only have one star, which is called the Bright Hall. But this star doesn't really do much for you now. So what do I mean? Yeah. The Bright Hall star is more about your long-term future. So this year, what I feel about goat people, so this will be people born in 1979, 1991, 2003, 1967, 1955. This year, you need to sort of like just slowly and steady, right, go through your year rather than trying to rush and almost like, I have to achieve this, I gotta do that, right? I have to obtain this. You need to have a little bit of patience to go through all these kind of things. Meanwhile, look after your health. Make sure that your health is very balanced. The bright Hall star is telling you that no matter what happens, make sure that you're always seeing a bright future in front of you. And I associate this star with the tarot card, the star.
Oh, okay.
Because the star card is talking about this sense of hope that we have, even though we are in the darkness. And that's what the star is. The star is shining in the sky, but we're at nighttime. But the star is like a guidance. It's a little bit like a shining hope there that that, okay, now I'm in the darkness, but as long as I follow the star, I will be able to find the north. And so the star literally, it's talking about the Polaris, right? The northern star. And so for goat people this year, make sure that you have a positive mindset while you're going through your challenges, right? And good things will come to you later. Now, monkey. So this year, see, earlier we talked about the horse. The horse have the sun, the monkeys, you have the moon this year. The moon is your protective star. This year, not this year, people born 1956, 1968, 1980, and 1992. You were born in the year of monkey. Monkeys, the moon energy is funny. The sun is a little bit more in your face, right? The sun is, that kind of shiny positivity, right? So as an example, if you have the sun, it's a little bit like you're working with a client, and this client will tell you to your face, you're amazing, I love you, you got great service, right? Thank you so much, I'll definitely come back again. That's the sun. The moon energy with a monkey is a little bit like you're working with a client. Your client does not say anything to you. You provide the service, they'll be, okay, thank you so much, bye-bye, that's it. But behind your back, your client might be having a dinner with her friends, and she's talking about you in a very positive way. But you are not aware of that. You have no idea this client likes you. You have no idea that the client was impressed by you. But behind you, right, in the things that you can't see, the good things are happening. And then naturally, the following week, you might get more inquiries. And then those people come to you and say, oh, by the way, we were referred by this client. And you will be surprised. You'll be like, really? Really? She liked my service? She liked my design? Oh, I didn't know. She didn't say anything. It's a little bit like that, yeah? So the moon is very ethereal in Chinese astrology. It's very kind of like intuitive energy. It's not in your face, but it's happening at the backdrop in a positive way because it is an auspicious star.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I associate this moon energy with the tarot card, the High Priestess. It's a little bit like that secret knowledge, right? The secret wisdom that you gain in this year, right? So that's for our monkeys. And for roosters, next one, and this year you have got, really aggressive stars. Golden star, the general star, the golden log, and the 3 stages star. So this year, if I can use an analogy for rooster people, it's a little bit like you are being a military general and you are leading your army to the battlefield. And you are literally killing enemies, right? And after you win the battle, you come back and you tell the emperor, by the way, this year the emperor star belongs to the rat. So basically the rooster people will come back to the rat and saying that I have done my job. Now, what do I get? And the golden log star is the reward, meaning that if you fight your war, you will be rewarded with a box, a chest filled with gold. It's a little bit like that. So this year, a little bit similar to rat people, the rooster, you will have pressure, you will have wars to fight. But if you can really do that, there's a lot of leveling up for you. The general star is about your motivation, your fighting spirit. The 3 stages are talking about leveling up. So very possible this year, if you do your job well, if you work hard, you will get promotion. Or at least you will be promised a promotion, depending on the timing, right, of the company. Sometimes the company looking at your hard work will say, okay, next time when we have the promotion in the company, you will be the one. And that could happen actually in the year after. But this year, it's almost like that hard work that you will need to do, which will lead to a guaranteed the golden box for you.
That's kind of like just the snake energy that you were talking about in the beginning of like, this is that year to kind of put in the work and release all bad habits and then seeing more of the result next year.
Similar, yeah, but the difference is that for monkey, not monkey, we're talking about monkey. The rooster. So for rooster people, you need to be more aggressive this year.
Oh, okay.
So this year, roosters, you shouldn't take a no for an answer. For example, let's say you're a sales. right? You don't just send a client email saying, hi, are you interested? And they don't reply your email. You oh, they're not interested. Okay, fine, whatever. No, you call them. You knock on their door, right? You talk to them. You say, okay, I really think this is going to be, talk to me, right? Can we set up a meeting? Because the general star is a little bit like a military general. You can't be timid. You have to really carry your weapon there and say, let's get this done, guys. Right? It's a bit like that. So that's a little bit different from the snake energy this year.
Okay,
yeah?
got it.
Yeah. So roosters, don't shy away. Yeah. All right. So dog, right? This year, for dog people, you were born in the year of, where is it? All right. Let's see. 1958, 1970, 82, and 94. All right. So dog people, this year you have this beautiful star called Imperial Advisor. So you can see all the stars are almost like a Chinese mythological star. We have the emperor, we have the general, and now you have the advisor. So I see this a little bit like, I don't know if you're familiar with the King Arthur story. It's a bit like the King Arthur with Merlin, right? Merlin is his advisor. It's a bit like that. So dog people, this year, you will have some very helpful people next to you, whispering advice and wisdom at your ear. So the important thing for dog people is you need to listen. Okay, some of the voices are quite important to you. This could be about maybe an ally of yours, a good friend saying something. And it doesn't have to be about career. Sometimes maybe if you're experiencing some difficulty, maybe in your personal life, maybe this good friend over a brunch will say something very wise. And you'll be like, wow, I never thought about that. Like, thank you so much for saying that. It's a bit like that. So this Imperial Advisor star is about good advice from an ally to you. Or this could even be about maybe from someone you meet for the first time and something they say over that coffee or over the lunch. And you realize that, wow, I'm so glad that I came here today. Like I never realized that this was important, things like that. So dog people this year, you will have the assistance and the help from someone, okay?
Okay.
And also you have another good star, which is called a red matchmaker. Now this red matchmaker is the best star in romance. In Chinese astrology, we have a few different romance stars in Chinese astrology, but this one we call this the best one because this is talking about the right person rather than just, like sexy dates. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is really the one, but we're talking about your soulmate. And so for dog people, if you're single, this year, you might meet the one. Okay. So the two animals that have a very good romance star is one is this one, the dog, the other one is a horse. Rat and also monkey also have romance stars, but that one is a second grade, right? It's called the salty pool, and that's a second grade of romance. But dog people, yes, you're blessed with love this year.
Nice.
And if you're in a relationship, this could be very much saying that your relationship will also be able to move to the next level. Finally, we're going to the last animal, which is the pig. Now, in different culture, right? In Japanese culture, they call this the boar rather than the pig, right? But they kind of look similar anyway. Pig people, this year you have got three actually amazing stars. One is called the sky horse. The sky horse is very similar to Pegasus in Western mythology. This card is about, this star is about travel. Your physical traveling around the world, expanding your new horizons. But figuratively, the sky horse is also talking about opening yourself up towards new knowledge, new wisdom, new people, and new information. Because you can imagine when you are flying with the Pegasus in the sky, you are not looking at the trees, you're looking at the entire forest. So your view will be different. This is about that kind of expansion of our mind. It could also be about physical travel as well. Yeah. And the other star that is good is called a national treasure. And this national treasure star is about winning trust from the people around you. So this year, actually, a lot of the pig people this year, you will actually need to work on either your project or your new job or things like that. But the goal this year is not really about achieving it, but it's more about winning the trust from your allies, from the people you're collaborating for the first time. And once you have these trust will become opportunities at a later stage. So this national treasure is very good when it comes to building trustworthy relationships for pig people. And the final good star for pig is called month emptiness. Now, this is a kind of interesting star, because it doesn't sound like an auspicious star, even though it is. This is very similar to the Western astrological a phenomenon named the moon's void of course. It means that when bad things happens, it will not lead to any serious result. if you know what I mean. So I'll give you
Mm-hmm.
an example. Yeah. Let's say for example, you are supposed to bring a very important presentation to this meeting, and you already left your home. You're literally almost arriving at your company. You realize like, shit, I don't have my presentation. It's not in my laptop. What am I gonna do? Now, this monk's emptiness is telling you that the things that you kind of failed to do is not going to cause any severe consequence because it's empty. So it's very possible that you arrived at the meeting, you don't have the presentation, and either you realize that, oh, actually, I don't really need that presentation anyway. I can talk about something else. Or this could be about the client would actually say to you, oh, can we talk about something different? I don't need to see that presentation. I want something else. Do you have something else to show me? And then you realize, that was not a big issue anyway. It's a little bit like that. So it's also a little bit like the heavenly relief for snake. The problems that you think you might have eventually will be resolved.
Nice. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for giving us all a reading for this year. That's so amazing.
Absolutely.
When you're seeing clients and you're doing your counseling,
Yeah.
what do you find is the most common struggle or concern that they come to you with?
I would say three different topics, right? One thing is about career, their career success. And the second one, of course, is a relationship, love and relationship, right? Marriage, dating, finding love, balancing relationships. And the last thing that I always hear from clients is about, okay, life is actually fine. I have a stable job. I get paid fine. I have an okay partner. Yeah, my partner is not, bad, but I just feel something is lacking in my life. I don't know what it is. And I feel a little bit stuck, but I can't pinpoint it because nothing is really wrong in my life. But I just feel something is actually wrong. So generally speaking, those three things, and people will come to me and say. And so according to their questions and their requests, we'll be able to use different method to read the so-called their path.
Oh, I love that. So it sounds like when a friend of mine does tarot and she says something very similar to what you're saying as far as like what people come to her for and what their concerns are and what they want to talk more about. I know love is like a huge one and relationships and all of that. And so when you're working with somebody, how does it usually work? Do you do just based on them, you kind of customize like, okay, I'm going to use this tool for this, and then do you kind of combine everything, or does it depend on the person?
So it is a combination of different method, right? But the initial part, right, of the session is because what I do is counseling. So it's very important that you actually do counseling with the client rather than just tell them about their future, because we're not doing fortune telling here, right? We're doing counseling with clients, and it's important to use for me to use to use astrology, Chinese astrology, Western astrology. We're using tarot. We're using different type of numerology, right? We're using different type of tools to help clients, provide them the solutions they need if there's a solution there. But the process of the session is a little bit more like a talk therapy. So that's why it's important that the client needs to want it when they come to a session. I realize that usually when the clients really want to have the session and really want to change their situation, really want to, change for the better, let's say, usually the session is very successful. And what I am a little bit afraid to do these days is, let's say, maybe, for example, Jessica, you are a client of mine, right? And you like the session, and you say, you know what? I have a friend. I'm gonna buy her a session. Let me pay for the session, right? And she will, and you can contact her, right? Here you are. And sometimes that does not work because that person might not want a session at all. So you might be having great intention to help them, but maybe they say, you know what? I don't need help. I'm happy with the way I am. I don't need a guy to sit there tell me how to live my life. And I'm not enjoying it, right? And so in that way, it's actually not good for the client because they are not getting a gift that is really benefiting them because they don't need it. It's also not good for the reader or the counselor because I'm wasting my time with someone who doesn't really appreciate it. So I think it's very important that when we go to a spiritual counseling session, we know that this is something we want. And we know that through this session, I know what I'm trying to seek out of this session. I can be very clear with my counselor. This is the reason why I'm here. This is the reason why I need your help. So help me, please.
Yeah, and I can see that being true. If you're really seeing results, you're like, "Oh my gosh, I want to share this with someone." But, it's like anything, right? You have to want change to have it. You can have all the knowledge in the world. That doesn't mean you're going to actually take the steps that you need to unless you want to do it. So I love that you kind of described that for us because some people might not know exactly what spiritual counseling is. And that was really helpful. So I would love if you could tell people now where they can find you, because I'm definitely going to link the Oracle cards, and but just to get in touch with you to learn more about you and what you do and what you offer, if you could share that with us, that would be great.
Absolutely. So my website is www.thehealingkingdom.com. I'm sure you'll put this in the description. Yeah, maybe they can just click and access directly. And so through my website, you can actually get in touch with me for personal session booking. You can also find my Oracle cards, the link to direct you to Amazon to purchase the decks. And also, I have an official Instagram account where I update daily content, right? Sometimes about reading, sometimes about books, sometimes about collaboration podcasts, like with you, Jessica. All these kind of things I'll put on Instagram. And my Instagram name is just my name, Letao Wang, LetaoWang.
I'll link that as well in the show notes so that they can just go right over and click the link. So it was such a pleasure speaking with you, meeting you. I loved this. This was so interesting. And thank you for being here with me tonight.
Oh, thank you so much, Jessica, for having me. Hopefully we can do this again sometime soon.
I would love to. I was going to say we should do this again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If you have any other ideas, you feel that there are certain topics you would like me to attend, absolutely send me an email, and I'm sure that our audience will also be very curious.
Yes, I think so too. Thank you again.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Yeah. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Please subscribe and review so we can reach more people who want to learn to glow alongside us. See you next time.